to make sure audio's working.
Yes. Give me a second. Test it. Testing. Testing. Say something.
Something.
Okay, it works.
All right. Let's clear that off. Fix that just a little bit. There should be good. What's up, everyone? I'm the Kaishino Kami from the Toku Animation News Network here with
Pelican Kane.
And we are here to talk about Gozyuger episodes 11 and 12, When Death Becomes No One.
Ooh. See, I prefer the movie Death Becomes Her. Because Goldie Hawn and Susan Sarandon, I believe it's Susan Sarandon, yes, did a great job.
So, let's see. First, our episode starts off with Blue practicing some moves for whatever.
Show.
And he gets attacked by two guys who transform into Geo Ego and oh god. Now I'm trying to remember who the other one was. It was
an older
Sun Vulcan, right?
Yes, Sun Vulcan.
But yeah, Sun.
It was Sun Vulcan and Gozyuger. Okay? Sun Vulcan,
stop.
Gozyuger. Sun Vulcan.
Tuck to the left because you ain't right.
Oh my god. We are not doing 90-isms.
But yes, Vol Eagle.
Is that really his name?
Yeah.
Oh.
Vol Eagle for Vulcan. But so we have. I will say I was kind of disappointed because the one dude is pretty large, and when he transforms, he goes super skinny. I'm like, they should have done a Yellow Owl thing where he stayed somewhat his proper size when he transformed. So I was a little bit disappointed in that aspect.
Well, that's something that has always frustrated me when it comes to tokusatsu. Because anytime, and Jet Eagle, I know that's his name.
Yellow Owl.
Shut up.
Jet Eagle, not even the right color.
Shut up! But anyways, hey, stop it. But anyways, he is not even the first heavier set. And I hate to say it like that, but it's true. Because there was another Ranger.
Well, the original Yellow Ranger.
That was also a little bit bigger than the spelt forms.
Yes, Key Ranger.
And he even had a suit actor that was
a bit bigger.
And it frustrates me because I understand fitness and health is very important in Japan. It's just as important here for very different reasons because we have Ozempic fever going on right now. Everybody using a diabetes medication, which is Ozempic, Mounjaro, for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
Basically, people who are already thin using these diabetic medications to become thinner. So I call it Ozempic fever right now.
But yeah, and then so they get defeated by Blue. So it seemed like this episode was going to be a Blue episode, but then it seemed to teeter into being a Red episode.
Oh yeah, and Grant Smith says Blue has a name and it's Goju Lion.
Leon.
So
Goju Leon.
Yes, but we tend to call them by their colors than their names all the time.
Just so it's easier on the audience.
Yeah, it's easier on the audience in case they don't remember. And in all honesty, I have so many Sentai names running through my head right now because we're also watching Zyuranger. So we're watching Zyuranger and now Gozyuger. And I'm trying to remember what color is what, whose name is who, because I think his name is Rikyo.
Mm-hmm.
And the other Blue Ranger I have in my head right now is named Dan, which Dan is easy to remember because I know a ton of people named Dan through my life. So it's hard to keep track of. So sometimes going by that coloring is to help. But the problem is for anybody who's colorblind, you only know them by the character name, like Gozyuger, for instance. You're not going to know it's blue unless somebody repetitiously.
Green for eagle.
Whatever, yes.
But this seemed like it was going to be a Rikyo episode, but then ended up being a Hoeru episode. But
Well, that's where I'm confused because the following episode was more on Rikyo.
But
it's not even a development episode for Rikyo at the same time.
No, this was very definition of filler episodes. These were filler episodes that weren't totally filler-ish. But okay, so we have a monster appears wanting to play tag. Meaning the tag no one, the greatest tag player ever.
Well, and it's cute because all the references to tag that were done, especially in this episode, were so very much like the references that I remember as a kid for tag. I would imagine it's still the same for kids today and things like that.
And we have our character from Deno/Hibiki show up as a wanderer beast tamer.
And how long ago was Hibiki?
2006.
And how long ago was Deno?
2008. No, 2007, because it was F.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's been nearly 20 years for Hibiki at least, and he came in the second half of the series?
Yeah, he was the one that said, I'm Hibiki's son at first. He was the rich kid who kind of became friends with Asumu, but
was a writer at one point, wasn't he?
Well, yeah. And then he was the secondary writer in Deno.
Yes, but okay, so it's been a long time since I've watched Deno, and I had to think about Hibiki when you're like, yeah, this is the kid from Hibiki, and like he's an adult. So I did think it was cool that we once again get a classic Toku actor. I know classic early 2000s, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Getting somebody who's already been in Toku playing a character of the week. And so we find out that this character is a beast tamer.
And he has the ability to make all the Gozyugers do whatever he wants based on whatever music he's playing. All I thought of at that point was Carnival of Animals. It's a piece, I can't remember, that it's an orchestrated piece where they do all this music that's meant to represent each animal. Like in
I just think of Old MacDonald.
Well, okay, remember, in Christmas Story?
Yes.
When the bully shows up and you have that music that plays.
Yeah.
That's meant to be the music for the wolf.
Oh.
Okay. Because it's creeping up on you.
Now, I will say it was kind of weird to have, like, Hoeru being that mindless wolf. I will say the funniest control music, though, was for Sumino.
Black. With the horse music. When she's doing this.
Yeah, where she's doing the horse things in regular human, not henshin.
And she's like riding it out.
And everybody's looking at her and she is like, what is... And I thought that was hilarious only because her presentation as a character is supposed to be very sophisticated. So being a sophisticated...
Well, she even made the comment, I can't wait to meet all these rich people, these rich executives. And then she just starts doing like...
And so I felt bad for her.
Okay, I will say this episode made me realize I do not like Hoeru's actor.
Okay, how so?
I just compared to the last several Red Rangers, his actor just isn't up to par.
Okay, that's fair.
I think...
Now, is he Bond level?
Oh, I like Bond more than Lucky. I will say he is probably He is my least favorite Red Ranger since Ko in Ryu Soldier.
Okay, thank you. I was gonna say Ko is Ryu.
But he definitely just isn't at the same level as Kaito and Momotaro.
Momoi.
Yeah, Momoi, Gira, and Taya.
Now, I will say, without comparing to other Reds, and I understand the reasoning for that because each red has your formulaic trope, each blue, green, yellow.
But yeah, that
you.
scene with him and Rikyo on the bench, that I think was like, oh my god, I actually do not care about this actor that much.
Well, the hard part is I don't feel like they truly know what to do with Hoeru's character.
That, and I think these episodes not being written by Juko, not being written by Akiko, also showed the flaws with the show.
Well, and that says a lot, especially
which is weird because this guy wrote several of the procurement episodes of Boom Boonger.
Well, you also have to think of when you have, even though you have different writers writing different stories, the challenge is, think about like from Breaking Bad terms. Even though you had a lot of different writers writing different episodes for series, you could even go on Doctor Who trends. Well, I'll go with Breaking Bad because that had a long range plan. Like this show has a long range plan. That's the goal. We don't know what it is. We didn't even know what Breaking Bad was. But because it has a long range plan, this writer had to make sure that certain elements were checked off.
That also didn't contradict the main story.
Correct. So where the procurement episodes may have been stronger in Boom Boonger, it could be because you had an opportunity of being able to play with the world building a little bit more, which one of the challenges I see from the world building of Gozyuger is that you're a little confined in what you can do because you have to base so much off of past themes of Rangers in a way. And I will say anything that
in a way.
Also, I have to say, I'm not a huge fan of Gao Ranger. So having Gao Ranger featured in the last 2 episodes was kind of killer for me because I found that Sentai to be the boringest of all I saw from 90s, early 2000s.
I liked the fight between Rikyo and him, though.
Yes.
Gaia. I did like the fight.
Oh, yes, Gaia's his name. Yes, thank you.
Because, wait, no, it wasn't this episode when it was it's part 2.
Yes, but for this episode...
No, it was, because that was in the factory. That's right. Yeah, I did like watching Lion, and Eagle fight Gao Red, and with Lion using the eagle form, and then he goes into gorilla mode when he starts playing the music to control the eagles. I did like that. I thought that was kind of entertaining. But episode 11, I thought I didn't care for it that much.
I honestly didn't care for it that much.
It just felt very off. Even though I still hate episodes 7 and 8 more, I felt like the writing of this episode felt off compared to all the other episodes.
Well, once again, my biggest challenge is it felt like every other Ranger was a side character
to Gao Red.
And I just hate Gao Ranger enough that I'm like, oh my god.
But
and I know Gao Red and Gao Ranger is probably one of the best characters in the show, but I don't know. Well, before we go to 12, unless you have anything.
Well, we have then 11 ends with the tag monster.
Oh yes.
That was the other thing. Being destroyed, and then it turns out there's another monster inside of him.
It's like monster in my pocket.
But then we have.
Oh, what are those Russian dolls called? Where you open one up and it's a smaller one. Open one up, it's a smaller one.
What is their name?
Oh God, nesting dolls.
Well, they're nesting dolls translated. I just can't think of the actual name.
But I was thinking of like a nesting doll.
But
because when the tag monster opens his ribs and you see the girlfriend, I'm like, it's like a nesting doll.
But then we have the other scene I found pointless was
Are the portals?
No, that was kind of funny. Watching him be traversing between the portal. I was thinking of Portal with that. No, the mech battle with Bouquet.
Oh,
She comes down, and again, is this a Blue episode? Because he doesn't even pilot the mech. She comes down to fight him.
and she's fighting
Sumino. Yeah. So I was like, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, our episode ends with the monster turning up. There's another monster inside.
All right. So Anthony Sarkis, Cherry Fluffbelly, and Grant Smith all say hello with a "How you doing?" So
And Jake Schuster.
Oh, sorry, I missed Jake. I am Thea Gaines.
And Ivan. Who else do we got?
Well, Jake Schuster says you pushed me down the stairs.
And Axel.
I will say I've been tempted many times through our actually, we've known each other for 25 years, even though we haven't been together for 25 years.
No. I don't know you until August.
Oh my God. We still have known each other for a very long time. And in all those years I've known him, there have been times I've been tempted. Just tempted. Oh, like you haven't been tempted.
Not to push you down the stairs. Too messy. Too obvious.
Too obvious. Well, you don't need to push me down the stairs. I have no center of gravity and balance. I can fall down the stairs just as easily on my own.
Exactly.
But yeah, I love Grant. Your comment, Blue has a name and it's Goju Lion. But we went through that, and thank you, Bull Eagle. I'm surprised you're doing another Gozyuger stream this soon. So let me explain this to you. So my loving husband, the host of this series and the host of the channel, that's you, dork, thought we had 3 episodes. So he's like, well, we'll watch Gozyuger go through these 3 episodes. And then when we're about to go through these, he's like, I'm hungry. I don't know what I want to do. I don't think I want to watch it right now. So we go out to eat. Then we come home, still planning to watch 3 episodes. He goes onto the computer to pull things up, and he's like, we only have 2 episodes. So my first question, just like your thought, Anthony, was, well, do you want to then do a live stream today? And he's like, well, yeah, we already said we would. I'm like, who did we say this to?
Well, and I need content.
I'm like, who did we tell we were going to do a live stream?
Because I've been light on videos this week.
Really lazy?
Well, lazy?
No, you've been doing a live video production.
I've been working on Wingspector the last few days.
He's been doing a lot of video production, doing a redux of the Wingspector review. And
it started out as a simple project that was going to be just re-recording it, putting the new audio over the old video with the live bits being new, and then adding a Blu-ray section. And then it went into, well, let me use the actual Blu-ray, find the Blu-ray episodes, redo those clips. Then it became, well, I don't like the way that turned out from the old review, so I'm going to put a Blu-ray clip into there. So it's essentially 80% a brand new review.
Well, think if you've ever watched The Boondocks, and you have the Christmas episode with Huey, where they're going to do this nice little family Christmas.
Damn the budget!
And anyway, so after everything's all said and done, they do the vision of the play that Huey found some crazy-ass reason to do. I love the Boondocks, don't get me wrong. And then at the end, when he's asked, do you want to see what happened?
No, he says there were no recordings of it, and no, it will never be seen again. But that's okay. I didn't like how it came
yes.
out.
Yeah, I don't like to see my past work. And that's what I thought of him, because the whole time he is going through the Winspector old review to kind of figure out what he's doing. He's like, how did I release this? I'm like, oh my God. So now there's videos that he re-released last month, not re-released, but yeah, re-uploaded, that now he's questioning, should I have actually gone through them to fix them? So in the comments, if there's videos that you think he needs to redo, tell him, because he will go in and redo it in his insanity. But moving on, Grant also says that you should be, how about you be a good husband and STFU, my favorite 4-letter acronym ever. I actually bought, I'm not going to do anything, but I bought a squirt gun. It's bright green.
Oh, this one.
Yes. Hi, Jude. Thanks. That Gozyuger was a frustrating show. Well, that's the wrong answer. Kaiju hates vegetables, but I don't. Actually, Kaiju hates 2/3 of vegetables. No, actually, he likes more vegetables than I do.
And I'm the picky
Because
eater.
he'll eat artichokes if it's mixed in with the right things.
Yes.
You don't outwardly go out to eat artichokes. I'm just saying.
If it's just there, already mixed in and fine, whatever.
Which makes no sense to me, because artichokes are bigger to find, but you have to search and destroy all peas from your meal. Like, I'll eat a lot of vegetables, but he's better at it. He actually likes 75% of all fruits out there. It's amazing. You'll give him a random fruit that I could never pronounce the name of. He'll eat it. He's like, this is really good. I want more of it. So,
except watermelon. I hate watermelon.
And Star Wars fan
And
says hello.
That one gelatin type fruit that we had. The one that was spiky on the outside.
Oh, dragon fruit?
No, it wasn't dragon. No. When you cut it open, it was like jello inside. That I didn't like.
Well, that's because it's a texture thing. Axel says hi. Star Wars fan says hello. And then Axel asked, do you consider Sun Vulcan the weakest season of Sentai?
Nope. Not even close. I mean, it's up there, but...
Ooh, okay. Here is what Axel calls all of the Rangers. Roy for red, Zane for blue, Eric for green, Jake for yellow, and Megan for black. I am curious on why those particular names. Are they characters of other Sentai? I would imagine most likely, but... And Goju is 50.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. No, I know Goju is 50. The problem is, coming out of my mouth, it always sounds like gibberish. And then Axel asks, is Liveman red and eagle?
No. Red falcon.
So when is a red and eagle in any Sentai?
Jetman? Wait.
Is
red
it?
falcon, red eagle. Yeah, Jetman.
Okay. And then, so who was this Gao? Oh, yeah, you already mentioned who Gao was played by. And Star Wars fan says they're in episode 9 of Ultraman Trigger. So
I'm sorry.
He is starting to get annoyed by smile.
Join the club. We all hate smile.
And Raphael says change Pegasus.
Oh wait, yeah. Never mind. It's Red Hawk for Jetman.
And Raphael says change Pegasus' actor went from Pegasus to Dragon.
Yep. Dragon Ranger. But I.
Oh, yeah, you said that. I didn't know he was Pegasus. Okay. Yeah, he went from a horse to a dragon.
Yep.
Yeah. Dragons are so much cooler than horses, and you can let Silver Quill know that. So this episode sort of confirms that they can use the Red Ranger super modes. Yes, because we did have Goju Eagle? No, Goju Lion do the super mode. Blue.
Yeah.
Rikyu.
Because he did the gorilla form.
Mm-hmm. And then your thoughts on Ultraman Omega.
He looks like, oh God, Zerth to me. I'm not a fan of his design.
Oh, and Grant says, it said Hibiki came out in 2005.
Oh yeah, Kabuto is 6. That's right.
Wow, Grant is calling out all of your fuck ups today. I am loving it.
That's right. Because we were moving.
Grant, you're gonna get a prize. I don't know what.
We were moving when Kabuto.
Well, yeah, because Hibiki.
Yeah, that's right. Because Blade was 04, Hibiki was 5, Kabuto was 6. That's why I was thinking 9, because I was thinking Deno for some reason was 8, and I was like, well, Hibiki's 6, Deno's 2 years after Hibiki.
All right. So then Gozyuger gave us the first black female ranger. Well, black ranger as a female.
Yeah. Well, technically no, but yes.
What do you mean technically?
Well, because if you remember in King Oger's finale, what's her name? The previous queen, Araki, transforms into
Oh, yes, turns into Lebowski's.
Yes. So technically no, but permanent ranger, yes.
Permanent ranger, yes, technically. Well, because if you think about it...
Because even in Gokaiger, they transformed into some black rangers.
Yes, but that was...
I know.
Costume change. Because even next week's preview shows that we're getting a
female red racer.
Yes. But she won't be the first costumed red.
No.
Because we also had that for Shikinger. I don't think we had any prior to that. But Dawn Brothers also gave us our first male pink, too. So it's really cool we have that. And also, wasn't Rita the first permanent purple ranger that started episode 1?
Oh, for starting?
Yeah.
Yes. Because Geki Violet showed up little ways into the show. And same with Kyoru Violet.
Because Geki Violet is considered a 6th ranger, isn't he? In
6th Ranger-esque.
Yeah, because both him and
Geki
Chopper, they're not your traditional 4 and 5. Let's see. So Gozyuger gave us the first black female ranger. Raphael says episode 12 gave me Gao Silver and not Princess Shayla vibes. Axel says, so the Gao Red Universe Warriors is named Todoroki, and I swear I heard that names from somewhere. Axel and Star Wars fan says Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia. Oh, yes, Todoroki is from MHA. And Todoroki instruments would actually work on the Yellow Ranger. So let me just go through a few more of these. So Grant also says, okay, don't compare Goju Wolf to the Red Ranger from Real Soldier. The two don't have any annoying catchphrases.
All I mean is basically he's my least favorite since Ryu Soldier.
Yeah,
because I've liked all the Red Rangers from Kira Major onward until now.
It's probably more of the acting capabilities than them themselves. And the Gao Ranger theme has to be on my top 5. I don't remember the Gao Ranger theme. Is it a good song?
It's pretty good.
And then Gozyuger is great, but the setup is a nightmare. I will say my favorite thing about Gozyuger has nothing to do with the show or the story. As Silver Quill and I have both discussed many times, The opening song is so well done. It gets you excited, which you expect of a Sentai show because you want that excitement. And it's a song that I can listen to outside the show and still enjoy.
Oh, the opening theme?
Yeah. Yeah, Russian nesting dolls. I just don't know
I can't think
what their actual name is. And then I love how so Lonely Sniper. Hi, Lonely Sniper.
I was gonna get to that one.
Says I love how intriguing it is, and the characters are investing.
I'm assuming that's supposed to be interesting,
but it feels a tad disjointed. Yes, I like the characters. I will say if I had to go in order of who is my favorite to least favorite, it would be Goju Eagle, which is green. Then it would be Rikyo or Goju Lion. Sumino, who is Goju Unicorn. And then it's a toss-up between, is it Ritsu? Or
for which one?
Yellow, which is Goju Bear or Kuma? What is he?
Tyranno?
Tyranno. Shit. Forgot.
What was
I know it's another R.
Ryuji? Was it Ryuji?
And then Hoeru, who is Red Goju Wolf.
I think it was Ryuji for yellow.
I do want them to feel like a team at some point. Because really, that's the one thing. Like Dawn Brothers, there was a comedic purpose to why they never always felt like a team.
Right now, my problem is the main characters right now seem to be background characters to some of the other ones coming in.
Well, and that's the hard part.
When we had our Don Momotaro guy, he seemed to take the spotlight. The Prime Minister. He seemed to take the spotlight away from them. These episodes.
Well, you have even the previous episode with the Sentaiologist. I know that's not what his name was. But
for episode 7. He took the spotlight away. Then we had the previous episode, the Showa World episode, was a fully focused green episode, so that was fully on him.
Well, truthfully, I have to say he is my favorite character because he has, like I've said multiple times, the actor has to play an old man in a young body.
Well, yeah, green right now is my favorite. Then would be Unicorn, Sumino. Then I guess Rikuo, but I really don't have any traits of Rikuo, Ryuji, and Hoero I like.
I did like when he was playing tag in the beginning of episode 11. I forgot about this, not the backtrack. I did like the fact that he said, I was born with guilt. And then he had to continue because of how breathtaking I am. But I'm like, that born with guilt is a great setup.
Let's see. Cherry Fluffbelly says, how's everyone doing? Renan Silverquill here.
So Silverquill has abandoned us for racing. He's not actually racing because I'd be terrified for the world.
He now works on Saturdays at a racetrack.
Well, Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah, for the summer. So I don't know.
He will be in a video next Thursday.
Well, it depends if we have time to do a live stream Thursday for Gav.
We
might have to do Gav without him on Saturday or Sunday.
And just filter in little clips of him. Do a montage of what was once with Silverquill.
But so Silverquill may not be in live streams for
all the time.
A long time because.
Well, when I get my Zoom license, we can figure that out for future live streams.
We'll do something with him with Gav at some point.
But Ren is around. He is actually scratching the office chair behind me where Kaiju works. But yeah, everybody's doing good. He's healthy once again, which I'm very happy about. Ethan, hello, was watching your review and saw this notification. And then Anthony says, how would you rank all 3 Junko Sentai series? How would you? Since we have to give her so much credit now with
Gov?
Gov.
I guess Zenkaiger Juoger or Juoger Zenkaiger Lupot
I would probably put Lupot a little higher, but
or Zenpai Lupot Zenkaiger Juoger.
mine would go Zenkaiger Lupot Juoger. Because once again, still Seinfeld.
Yeah.
But now here's a question from Axel, which I think is a good question, and it probably has stymied in a lot of other things. Do you ever wonder how some characters lose weight after transforming?
Not really, because I accepted that a dog can have a regular helmet on that's flat down here, despite him having a snout.
No, what I wonder is how some rangers grow 6 inches in height while your ultra tall
Blue Buster
can lose like a foot in height. Or when you have from Die Ranger, what's his name?
Well, they show you how cold.
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah,
they do show him bulking up.
Yeah, that's true. But when you see actors and actresses lose or gain inches compared to what their suit act, especially when you have them standing in a line. If you have your rangers standing in a straight line prior to transforming, and then they transform, and you see somebody going,
remember Jungle Fury? Because you had in Geki Ranger, Blue was kind of tall, so he's like the tallest of the Rangers. But when in Power Rangers Jungle Fury, the Blue Ranger was the shortest of the three, so it was like. But then when they transformed, it went.
It always made me laugh. Like, it frustrates me sometimes that I take it as fat shaming the Rangers where they make them skinny, but I'm more concerned with how they grow in height and not, because if I was a short character or a short actor or character, so to speak, and my henshin form was like 10 inches taller, I would stay henshin every single day. I'd go grocery shopping and everything.
All right, so Micah Seno's comment deals with episode 12. So let's talk about episode 12.
All right. And hi, Michael Sena.
Which we come to find out the origins behind the No Ones. Well, first, so our episode kicks off where the last one left off with the tag No One transforming into some ferocious creature
with a horn
and running away, which ties into the comment Senna says that it made them think of a Roki from Gao Ranger, which I can totally see that. Because it does kind of remind me of Roki, or the wolf undead from Blade.
Oh yeah.
But we come to find out that No Ones don't have a true form until they capture a human and take their emotions and body to give them structure.
It does make me think of Don Brothers in that vein, except for the one dude who turned into a monster.
The Hitotskis?
The Hitotskis. When one dude turned into a Hitotski 4 times. But...
And then in like 2 of the 3 movies.
But nonetheless, I do see where you're coming from. I do like that, though.
But then we find out this one... The girl he captured, she died as he was merging with her.
Which is...
So he ended up becoming defective because he took on the traits of a dead girl, and it just messed up with the chemistry. And so Bouquet then had Tag No One merge with them, because then it gave the No One, I don't remember,
Oni No One
an actual full thought process. So I never thought
That's where I came with the whole nesting.
tackle the subject of a host dying, being taken over.
Well, because if you think about it, in the last number of years when it comes to Sentai,
And not
They don't-
Resurrector.
well, that's what I was going to say. The last few years of Sentai, they've never really dealt with permadeath
No.
outside of like the villains. The villains permadie all the time, but the heroes essentially don't. Or any of the victims of the villains typically
Well,
don't.
even, what's his name? Kira Major, they redeemed. Garza.
Yeah,
They redeemed him.
and Chocula.
Yeah. Crunchula.
Sorry, I always think of Count Chocula. But they don't typically kill a lot of the characters or the character of the week type of
Or
thing.
the civilians much anymore.
So it was kind of tragic in a way because the way Gaia, the Gao Red, was talking to the other characters, that he was trying to save her. He knew she was dead, it seemed like. It seemed like Gaia always knew,
That she had died
She had
in
died.
that process.
but when he shared it with the others, they couldn't tell. The only one who could tell was Rikyo, because since he has that ultra hearing.
All I know
capability-
is, okay, so Gaia went out to die in battle. He'd be a perfect partner for Toku Orange in Toku
God.
with Akira.
Now,
wanted to die in
okay.
battle. So I want to see a team up between Gaia and Akira.
Now, I will
And
say,
then they can have their little, well, I can die in battle better than you can. No, I will die in battle but better than you.
there are a few characters I would like to actually see their legit Sentai. Not as somebody else playing them, but as them playing their own character. Akira would be one of them, and Marvelous would be another.
Actually, you know what I want to see? I want to see Ryu Ranger from Die Ranger played by Shinji's actor from Ryuki.
Oh, because
Ryu Ranger's actor played the character that was supposed to become Ryuki, but didn't, so he got eaten by Dragon
I
Raider.
just thought about that. I was like, wait a minute. That would be full circle.
I want Shinji's actor to be Ryu Ranger.
Oh my God. Oh, that would be, especially if he got killed too, because that would be an extra level of fucked up. Yes, I now stand that. But there are certain actors, I just think, who played their character so well in that particular Sentai that would be great as just that character, even if it broke the rules. So that's why I know it necessarily wouldn't happen.
But yeah, I would like to see some actual actors, even if it's like the end of the series, have the actual actor with the person who's been playing him in this show. But I mean, like two Gao Reds,
Like, it would be so cool to see
two Tyranno Rangers,
like the original OG Red, because I know he's still with us.
Aka Rangers.
Aka Ranger. To have the original OG Aka Ranger play himself, possibly in the scope of the show, but to still have that.
But
But with this episode,
I like this episode a lot more than part one.
But why do we always have to have, for the very depressed, lone wolf type characters, a fucking ocarina? I just want to I want to take out their hand every time I see an ocarina, because it seems like the most common trope. You either have that or you have like a harmonica or something.
Which Akira has in
I know, but and I've seen it in other shows, but and it's even in American TV. When you have this like lone wolf type character, they always have to have these like depressing sounding.
Which is weird because he's a lion, not a wolf.
But so when he pulls out the ocarina, I'm like, and it's in the middle of the night as he's playing, I was like, oh my God. This is going to be one of those depressing episodes, which it was, but it was well written.
It was a lot better in part one. I did like where Blue actually got his mech, got to use his mech this episode.
And you got to see the mech from.
And well, we got Gao King.
Oh, is that what his name was?
Yeah.
Like I said,
and I couldn't tell if it was an exact track from Gao Ranger or if it was just a recreation of what the Gao Ranger music sounded like
for the song
that was playing but I liked that they did a little homage to Gao Ranger in that regard.
Well, because so he's trying to play a song that is Ruina's song. Is it Ruina or Runa?
I thought it was Luna. I thought the first time.
Oh, maybe it was Runa.
It was Runa, but I thought the first time he mentioned her in the episode 11, the subtitle said Luna.
No, it always had an R.
Did it?
Okay. I always saw an R. But okay, so Runa.
Maybe in my mind it just said Luna, so I was thinking Luna from Sailor Moon and stuff.
Well, because it has that pronunciation that could sound like Luna. But he said it's her song that she always sang. So I did like that because this was really stand out for Rikyo. And thank the gods, he has a good singing voice. Because I'm always fearful when you have rangers that are supposed to sing in the show and they, sadly, and it's no fault of their own, I can't carry a tune to save my life either. But he has an incredible singing voice. So I could see him being like past Rangers have done, where they sing future openings for other Sentai shows. Because there's been a few past Rangers who have really great singing voices that have sung other openings for Tokusatsu. Because you've pointed out to me.
Well, yeah, because Red Turbo's actor. He did the theme song of Turbo Ranger and Jew Ranger.
Oh, he did the actual theme song for the show he was in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
And Meowchi, he sung the opening to V3. Or wait, was it V3 he did the opening of? I forget. And
his name's really Meowchi?
Mm-hmm.
Because it sounds like you're saying meow and chi from like Chobits.
Meowchi. Miyauchi.
That's so cute. But
first I did back to the origins. I did like the origins of the No One, getting more insight on how they're created. Then we have Kuon come up, which he comes to fight the Rangers, which I still don't like that actor either. I felt like he was overacting in the one scene with Bouquet that he didn't need to actually overact in. I did like the camera work during his fight with Hoyoru, though.
Yes.
That was like a fight taken right out of Gav, the way it was filmed. That was freaking awesome. And then I like that the No One grew big, and I like how they're all like, "Oh, this is different."
Yeah, even the villains were a little caught off guard with that.
I think also what helped this episode is it wasn't following the usual formula for Gozyuger. But again, it was supposed to be a Blue episode, but really it was a Gao Red episode.
Well, I feel like both episodes were technically Gao Red. Now, they're probably Gao Red / Blue. And the reason why we go color coding for this is because in all of Tokusatsu, you have these color coordinated episodes that really feature that character.
But, and then we got, for the mech battle though, Hoeru lends Rikyo his weapon, which I liked, because it showed that all of them then can use that weapon.
Well, I wondered about that. Like, if all of them, if everything they have is multi-purpose, because I think of Tokuger. I've not seen Tokuger, but like they can all transform into each other's colors, take on each other's tasks or abilities. I mean,
they can cross the lines.
Sure.
Well,
or is that what it's really called?
Well, because they're changing train lines.
Oh, okay.
They're changing tracks. They're going on different tracks.
Because, so, when seeing something like that, it reminded me of what you talked about with Tokuger and things I've seen previously, that they can do that. And I like that capability because that allows for more engagement. Like, I also think of Gokaiger, when, even though it's swords and guns, so to speak, I know that's not the technical name for what they have. But they can kind of switch them up to allow them to go with their strengths type thing. So I did like that. I did like the fact that when we do see Runa again through the ribs, she's actually like, the only reason Rikyo starts singing, as he says, is because he hears her singing. And then when they do meet up, yes, it's in the white background world as always. And she's like, I don't want you to die just because I'm dead. I want you to live. And then you take the whole wrong perspective.
Well, when she says, I'll be reborn and find you, I'm like, oh, so we're going to have...
That means it's another life.
We're going to have the whole Robert De Niro thing going on where he's going to be 80, she's going to be like 25.
If that's not Robert De Niro. I don't think he's with a young girl like that. That's more Jeff Goldblum.
No, then it's Bill
Belichick, the football coach.
Who?
Bill Belichick is a football coach.
The guy from The Substance, the shrimp eating guy.
That's not Robert De Niro. That's Quaid.
No, well, De Niro, I was thinking because he just had a child or something not too long ago.
Did he?
Or was it Al Pacino? Whatever. But Dennis Quaid, yes, because his wife is like 50,000 years younger than him.
I don't know if she's that young because that would make her a speck in existence.
All I know is it's disgusting.
You think it's disgusting, but let them live their lives as long as they're of legal consenting age.
But technically,
I don't care what you think. But as long as that person is today legal consenting age, I don't care how old the man was when she was born. All right? As long as she's consenting age now and has a very strong, and as long as he has a strong prenup that she doesn't take all of his money away from the other kids who are older, then I don't care.
When they were 10.
Marcus, stop.
Okay, whatever. But anyway,
they're creeps too, but Jesus.
So, yeah, so the monster's destroyed. She goes off into heaven. And Gaia gives his ring to Rikyo. Is like, okay, I don't need it anymore. Bye. And then our episode kind of ends.
Yes, and then we get preview for the next episode was where we saw a female red racer. And it looks like that we're going to have a housekeeping episode.
Which it looks like that episode is written by Akiko. So there might be some plot development.
Well, okay. Having experienced a different writer from Akiko in the show as of this time, how are you feeling about Akiko's writing compared to having someone else there?
Well, like I said, his episodes felt disjointed from the rest of the series. So I don't know.
So do you think this needs to be a series like King Oger was,
where
it's
she
predominantly just one writer?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think.
You don't think the pathing for this story could help handle having a substitute writer?
No. Just like a Gito, where only one episode was not written by Inoue.
I thought it was Arakawa.
No, that was Kuga.
Oh, okay.
Arakawa wrote Kuga, but he didn't write every episode.
Because Inoue wrote some episodes.
Inoue wrote some episodes, and Kobayashi, I think, wrote episodes.
She did?
I think so. And she wrote the only episode of Agito that was not.
But because she's in tune with Inoue.
And then she went on to do Ryuki.
Which she wrote the best male character in existence. And the best male actor ever in existence. Sorry. Well, we already came to the conclusion when we get a second cat, its name, as long as it's, well, it could be a male or a female, is going to be Tachibana. After a secondary writer.
I thought you were going to go with Shinji.
No, you wanted to go with Tachibana because of Garen.
Just to annoy Silverquill?
Yes.
But, alright, so I didn't like episode 11. I liked 12 a lot more. I thought it was nice that 12 didn't follow the formula with the games.
Well, I feel like it would have been a slap in the face of the story itself to make it a game. Because when talking about death, and knowing that Sentai is targeted technically towards kids, where you have to have some sort of moral, which is why they made the comment in episode 11 about when you hear the notification it's 5 o'clock. I'm like, where the fuck is that in the United States?
Well, it's 5 o'clock. It's getting dark. Okay.
I know.
So...
if that's a legit thing that happens in Japan.
It's 5 o'clock. Like, the day is just getting started.
Well, I think it's to tell kids to get home. I don't think for curfew purposes. I don't even know if that's a legit thing. That could have just been an episode thing. Because back in the 80s, yes, I know I'm dating myself, I was told I just needed to be home before the streetlights went on. Or when I got older, I needed to be home before my parents went to bed.
Usually, I mean, most of the time we play just outside.
I was going to say, you probably, all the neighborhood kids where you used to live, you played in the street right in front of your house practically.
Down the whole block.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't like your parents couldn't just, or any of the kids' parents couldn't just go out onto the porch and yell, "Get your ass home!" and somebody would have come running.
But no, we would stay on until 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. School night is usually 9 o'clock is when we have to be in.
Well, yeah, so 5 o'clock is a little early, but maybe there's countries out there that have curfews.
I don't know.
You know, maybe that's why they have a low crime rate.
They don't do anything after 5 o'clock.
No shit. Maybe that's why the Republican neighborhood we live in right now has a pretty low crime rate. Because everything closes at like 8. I was like, I used to be clubbing until 5 a.m. and just basically change in a really ratty bathroom to get ready for work in 2 hours.
But
that's probably not the smartest thing to do. But overall, I say it because they talked about going home. So even in this episode, they took the seriousness of death. And also, I think that seriousness of just, even though you love someone so much and they're gone, you are still encouraged to live on.
All right, so we left off, well, we already covered a few of those comments. Senna's comment about Roki. I don't think I would want to see a Sentai My Hero Academia crossover.
No, I would say if My Hero Academia ever worked with anything, live action, so to speak,
Let's.
it would probably have to be like a superhero show, like a traditional superhero show.
Jake says they have to watch Sunglasses to watch my Sun Vulcan review.
And the funny thing about the title for Death Becomes No One, which I take as a reference to Death Becomes Her, he has never seen Death Becomes Her.
But I know of it, When Death Becomes Her. That's where I came up with the title.
Now, do you even know anything about the movie? It's actually hilarious comedy horror.
I just know it's about a girl who's dead or something. Because you said they do. You referenced what was it we watched a long time ago, where the character was doing like body contortions, and you said it reminded you of that movie.
Yeah, it reminded me of Goldie Hawn doing it. I really need you to get to watch the movie. It is so warped in 90s references, but it's so good.
When are you going to review Deno?
I've been asking that for years.
I have no idea.
Ryu Violet appeared only in episode 10. Because we were talking about Geki Violet.
Geki Violet and Kyoru Violet.
Yeah, because Ryu was there a Ryu Violet in Ryu Soldier? Or I'm thinking Ryu may be a different series, but
I don't remember. Shinginger had the first female red. Yep. Ethan's currently enjoying Kira Major.
Kira Major is a great show. I do agree.
Well, yeah, I guess technically Power Rangers SPD did do the first red female ranger.
They did?
Yep.
How?
Alpha Squad, because which is a different team, had a.
So you mean Power Rangers was more progressive than Japan for having a first female Red Ranger?
If you get down to technicalities, yes.
Because isn't SPD actually super popular in Japan?
Yep.
Maybe that's where they got the reference to finally do a Red Ranger that's female.
Do you guys consider dinosaurs animals? No,
yes.
They're dinosaurs.
Well, technically...
Dinosaurs are dinosaurs.
Well, they're actually technically considered fauna. Because flora is anything plant-related. Fauna is anything animal-related. Because technically human beings are animals.
But dinosaurs are dinosaurs.
They're animals.
They're reptile birds.
Reptiles are animals. Birds are animals.
They're dinosaurs.
Oh my God. Then what do you think of a shark?
It's part of the fish.
Is it an animal?
It's not technically a fish, but it is a fish.
Actually, it is a fish. Dolphins are not technically a fish.
Well, whatever. Kind of anyway.
Well, there are warm-blooded sharks, so.
The wiki does not consider the Yellow Ranger an anti-hero. Which Yellow Ranger? Are my messages not getting through since they aren't reading them? I said hi, and
I saw hi, but I didn't see anything else, or I thought
I thought we did get your thing from a while ago. A-Games.
Yeah, because we mentioned about the power-up. So maybe if you did put anything else in there, I'm so sorry, because we did say hello, and I apologize if I missed that. I thought I did.
No, we did.
Not getting a feel for some of the Rangers, like 20% into the show. It's not a great, and I appreciate that, Ethan.
Yeah, as I said, I only really care for two of them right now.
Yeah, as Ethan said, we are definitely behind on chat. And did we go past other messages? If we did, I feel shitty.
No, I only skipped the few that we had already covered, like in a non-discussion.
Well, but I did see the A-Games talking about that, so...
Yeah, we did talk. We did.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure we did. Because that was a long time ago.
And Cherry Fluffbelly left us, so mean. So what do you think of the first female Universe Warrior?
Hold on, we've got... Wait, where are we?
Oh, shit, sorry.
We've got...
No, now I'm going past them.
I like how they made Yellow Owl and Jetman stay big. Agreed.
Yes. Well, and that's my frustration, is because they have suit actors of varying shapes and sizes. So why not just take advantage
And
of that
Axel
diverse population?
thinks episode 13 will finally be a yellow-focused episode.
I believe so from the trailer, so I'm excited about
Sheriff
that.
Fluffbelly says, "What did I miss? I left the
Everything.
room for a bit. You missed the greatest discussion ever." They're talking about episode 12. Didn't that one Noto guy from Don Brothers die? Noto.
I think, yes, there were a couple of...
Oh, the Cerebrums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name?
Sonoy?
Sonoy, yes.
Yes, but he's still around technically because you see him everywhere. Let's...
Dayu and there's Shizmizan.
Oh, yeah.
Axel
Either
wants...
Hayata's actor or Hongo's actor should play Aka Ranger because they're both are old. Don't call me. Okay. I call us of increasing
And Axel
age.
would like to see Kaito's actor play Aka Ranger.
Oh, that would be cool.
Star Wars fans, speaking of Sailor Moon, is a live-action series worth watching.
I like Axel's response. Wait, there is a live-action Sailor Moon. It's not the greatest.
Yes, I reviewed it.
It's not the greatest. I would recommend watching his old review, which he should probably do a better job.
No, I'm not retouching Sailor Moon. Those reviews are done. I have no motivation to even touch the two movies that I am just no.
Wait, there's movies? Did we watch
Cosmos
them?
and Eternal?
No, he's talking about the live action.
No, I know, but I'm saying I'm not touching Sailor Moon again. I am done. I've reviewed Sailor Moon already. I am complete as far as I'm concerned. And I have no interest in the musical that's touring in America.
There is?
Yeah, there's a musical currently touring.
But the
touring in
live
America.
action Sailor Moon is good for its time. It's not great.
It was ambitious.
Yes.
They
that's
didn't
a great way
have
of
they
putting
didn't
it.
have the budget to meet their ambitions, but it was ambitious.
And they did change up certain things that were done in the live action that I actually thought were better than the original manga and anime.
And there were elements that made it into the live action that weren't done in the original anime, such as the four kings being Endymion's knights, which the anime barely touched on.
The newer one, they just
No,
glossed
the
over
original
it.
anime.
The original anime barely touched on it. The crystal version glosses over it.
Well, that's because the manga glosses over it.
But you have like a Dark Mercury arc,
Which
was
is
really
the best
cool.
thing about it. The Dark Mercury art is really what makes that series worth watching.
I also like the Sailor V arcs of how they play on that throughout.
With her dying by disease.
Mm-hmm. Well, also with her being considered the princess for so long too.
All right. Let's see. Where are we?
And for anybody who's truly new at these, we just meander a lot because we're old.
So I'm getting from this stream is the Gozyuger won't surpass Gokaiger is the best anniversary season. Oh.
Probably not.
God, no.
Which I think, like, okay, we just mentioned that the Sailor Moon live action series was ambitious. My fear with this show, not that it's going to be terrible, but they're going to have a lot of ambitions of what they want to accomplish. And we're already into episode 12.
13 is next.
I know, but completed 12 episodes. And I don't feel like I actually know where the show is supposed to be going. And it's not saying I need to know what the overarching end goal of the villains are, but I do feel like there are limitations in Gozyuger for an anniversary series that makes me feel as though I'm not hitting it.
Right now, I'm feeling the same way I did with Zenkaiger, but for opposite reasons.
Okay.
Zenkaiger, no plot whatsoever.
Correct.
The Ranger cast was really... We got to know a lot about the main characters, except for Stacy and Zox. At this point, we got to know who they are as characters and their personalities. I think they all had something by now that had shown off who they are.
Yes.
Villains were a complete garbage, knew nothing, really anything at all. This is the opposite. We know more about these villains than we do on most of the Ranger cast.
Well, and that's the problem. And even with what we know about the villains, it's not like we know a ton.
I know, but I feel like we know more about the villains than we do for most of the Rangers.
Because if I think about it on Boom Boonger, even by episode 12, I knew so much about the villains, just as much as I knew about the Rangers. And like, just like this show here, Mira was my favorite character. Stand out, the actress, the stories, everything.
See,
but even
Genba
here,
was my favorite.
Goju Eagle is my favorite, and he's my favorite by where like Mira with Taya.
But by this point,
what I'm saying is, let me just finish real quick. Where Mira was my favorite, it wasn't by like a large margin because all the other characters were good. Where here, Goju Eagle, because I cannot remember his name for the life of me. Ginjiro. I think it's Ginjiro. He is my favorite character, or Goju Eagle, whatever you want to call him. He's my favorite character by miles. Because I feel like I've gotten so much for development for him.
I actually did not write his name down here.
Yeah, I think it's Ginjiro, but I'll have to look.
I thought it was Kinjiro, because I thought it was with a K.
No, I thought it was with a G, but let me check.
But
what I'm saying is, I like him because I only know things about him.
Well, that's the thing. With Boomunjur, even though Genba was my favorite, I was going back and forth. Is it Genba? Is it Mira? Is it Taya at this point? Because I knew all about them. King Ojur, I still can't decide, do I like Rita more or do I like
Yanma
more? But at the same time, we had
oh, you are right. It's Kinjiro Takehara. I thought it was Ginjiro. So
but at the same time, even
and it's Ryuji for sorry.
Yeah. Now you've messed up my thought.
What you're talking about, how much you liked with King Ojur and stuff like that.
Yes, but I still, even though my favorites were between Yama and Rita, there were still things about Himeno and the others that I really liked that made me go, well, maybe I like them more than these ones. Mm-hmm. With Dabowski and all that, because they were really good cast. Don Brothers, same thing. Couldn't decide, do I like Haruka more? Do I like Kijino more? Do I like Tsubasa more? Because they were all varied. Mm-hmm. The only one I knew that was my least favorite at that time was, Haiku Boy.
I know who you're talking about.
But whereas here, I'm like, definitive, green is my favorite, black is my second favorite, and the other ones, I can take or leave them. Mm-hmm. So the cast here is weaker to me as of this moment in time. Things could change, but right now, I'm like, this is going to be a series that I don't think is going to be out. It's going to most likely be at best on Zenkaiger levels.
Well, okay, so for Gozyuger, I actually thought they were going to be inviting more past actors from Sentai. Don't get me wrong, I like seeing past actors from Sentai, Kamen Rider, Ultraman. It's great. But I thought we'd actually get more recognition for past Sentai actors. Now, it could be because of retirement, scheduling, things like that maybe they're not appearing.
Well, and that's the thing, because Gokaiger originally didn't plan to have as many old actors appear. It was just going to be those first few, and then they had the older actors contacting them like, yeah, we'd love to appear in this series. Mm-hmm. So I really thought what they were going to do with this is, okay, we had all these actors wanting to come back before. why don't we invite them all back
That's what I thought.
to actually show up in this series? And then they started doing new actors pulling like a Kamen Rider Decade, where it was new people playing the older characters.
Well, and I understand the reason for why they did it in Decade. They're supposed to be alternate universes.
Well, not the way they were originally advertising it. But so I get why they wanted to use new actors, but I think it would have been something else as having the older Sentai arcs, or even having the older Sentai actors play other versions of the Red Rangers.
Well, and I will say I'm excited that we're getting a female Red finally for one of the harkening back to older series, because I do think it's important that you highlight that anybody could have been these other Rangers. That it doesn't have to just be, I'm just going to say it from a feminist perspective, a random dude each week. That it could be anybody.
Random dude.
Like, it would also be cool, thinking of Kiba Ranger, to have, like, a kid. I don't know what it would be. It would probably be the most backwards wish they want, but why couldn't you? Going on Kiba Ranger or Tokuger.
What if Aka Ranger was the one played by a child?
Oh my god. Actually, if he had grandchildren, I don't know. That's why I'm saying if, because every family is different. But if he had grandchildren or great-grandchildren, depending on age, if one of them could play his character.
But have like a 10-year-old playing Aka Ranger. The oldest Red Ranger being played by a very young actor.
Why not? We finally had a man who assumptively is a character. Yes, he looks younger for the series, only because there is no way you could get, and I will say this as fairly for my own parents, somebody in their 70s and 80s to play somebody bombastic like that. And that wouldn't be fair to them or the audience either.
All right, let's see. Anthony, I would love if they got at least one of the Gold Ranger actors to appear in Gozyuger. Star Wars fan says they think 5 p.m. is when school gets out in Japan.
And that's possible. That's what I was thinking too.
School is getting out. All the adults run and hide. It is 5 p.m.
Well, I will say jokingly that's pretty late, but I have to remember how many times I left school early, so I don't know if it is truly. Then we have Mr. Ereverse saying hello. And then they went to see Thunderbolts, which I will say I enjoyed Thunderbolts. The more and more I think about it after I watched it, the more I actually enjoy it. It's probably not something I would own, but I would recommend for anyone who wants to see another example of a Suicide Squad that's not Suicide Squad.
And a Marvel movie that hasn't sucked after Endgame.
Yes.
Or completely sucked. But
I swore I read your okay, the 8 games. I swear I was reading off of your message.
Let's see.
Because I was reading your message of it was interesting to see Gozyugers use the past power-ups, because I saw that.
The Goju Gorilla. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I was referencing. Sorry if that seemed like we missed it. That's not at all the intent by any means. And I'm trying to keep up with messages, I promise you.
But that is the only one I actually...
Well, we're not going to fact check anybody on the face.
No, I was just making sure we didn't miss anything else.
Okay.
So that they know if there was other ones they sent, then that I didn't get... I don't see anything beyond the Jewel Gorilla one. All right, but what do you think the King of Your Universe warrior guy is doing? Working. He's probably working.
Guy.
His buddy at the store that was King, that was Kuwata Oger.
Oh, yeah.
He's probably working. He's probably been doing double shifts since they fired Hoeru. He hasn't had time to do anything else.
Was that the... Oh, I see.
That was his co-worker?
Yes. I thought that was Boon Red.
The actor was Boon Red.
Uh-huh.
Taya's actor was playing Kawata Oger.
Oh, God. I'm so... So, just so you know, this is all hair dye. This has never been my natural hair color. I haven't seen my natural hair color fully. And
then the end goal for the Gozyuger villains are to do things, right? And then Arrowverse also says, I am done being caught up with the Digimon for now until Discotech releases Tamers. Cool.
But yeah, Thea Games, I do agree. I have no idea what the villains are supposed to be doing.
They're supposed to be... Yes. All right.
So Grant Smith, because you were calling him out on all of his bullshit, if you're still on here, please send us a message, private message with your address, and we'll send you something.
One of the magazines.
Yes. And do you want to do a raffle for another one or no?
Not right now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all we've got for now for Gozyuger. So far, as a whole, I'm not impressed. Gav has been killing it. We watched 2 episodes this past week. We'll finish the next 4 this Thursday and do a live stream at some point.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try to do a live stream with Silver Quill, but it might not be with Silver Quill.
How many episodes do we have?
For Gav?
Mm-hmm.
4. We watched 2 this past Thursday, and now we have 4 because of today's.
Because we're making dinner at home, rather than me being lazy, we'll be able to do a recording.
Well, we'll see. Also depends what time Silver Quill gets over here.
Mm.
All right. But
we'll see him tomorrow. We'll confirm.
That's all we've got for now. Be on the lookout this week for a Godzilla comic review, my Winspector remake review, pseudo remake, and I'm finishing Ultraman Z this week. We're halfway through Jew Ranger. I will also be working on updated reviews for Time Ranger and Black RX. And that's pretty much it. So click like, subscribe, the bell notification, whatever YouTube guys are clicking in to support us. You can support us on Patreon and Bluesky at tokuaannetwork, Facebook, Instagram, Discord at Kaiju no Kami. The website is creativitybydesign.loc.com. You can buy cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise that should be attached to YouTube directly, but it's also creativitybydesign.loc.com/shop. And then there's also a GoFundMe to help the channel last for another 10 years. And some of that money will also be used for medical bills. So, until next time, bye. Aren't you going to wave before I hit end stream? Whoops, I hit not yet, not end. All right.